We've got Flex Lewis, 212 Mr Olympia, 3-time Mr Olympia here at Titan Fitness Coogee with us. Flex, it's always a pleasure to have you here, the true Welsh gentleman of the sport. Flex, tell us, how was it to win your third 212 Mr Olympia? What was it like?
To be honest, I get so zoned in the actual process, Nick, that it doesn't really hit home until after the event. So the whole process, again, of course I'm training for number one. I can see the end destination, the line, and I can see, the changes weekly. But again, when the hand is risen, it doesn't even hit home then. It doesn't hit home until a couple of weeks later. Yes, I realize I've got the title, but when it really hits home in the heart, it's normally when all said and done. And well, for the last actual show, I wasn't even near a gym. It was, I didn't even know, it just sort of hit home, more so thinking in thought. When I was on my own, doing a little cardio in the morning sometimes, like, wow, it's the third time I've done this. So it's an amazing thing to come around the world, promote the sport, talk, as a champion to many different audiences, and come out here again and do another training session with you guys and do another interview. You're in Australia.
Mate, it's always great to have you. It's fantastic. So you've won it 3 times now, the 212. You must be busting to get under that 212 mark now. Can you tell me, how tough is it to get under the 212, and where do you go to from here? Do you stay in the 212s? Do you move it up? Can you tell us?
I think that has been the burning question on everybody's lips this whole weekend, and I think I wish I wrote the board out and then said, okay guys, I am definitely doing the 212, not the open class, and posted it behind me. But no, each fan, when they, and rightfully so, when they come up, they all want to have their questions answered and asked. And it seems like 90% of them all ask me, am I going up into the open class? And for me, I want to create a legacy. Yes, I did say that I wanted to actually jump up into the open class at some point in time. But I've got unfinished business in this 212 class. And for as long as I can keep on dipping under the weight, which I am doing each and every year, but the skin of my teeth, I will stay in that 212 class and again create a legacy that I want to be a force to never be beaten.
Always the young guys want to know, and this is something that I want to know too. There are days when all of us don't feel like training. I'm sure you get those days where you have to train, you don't feel like training. How do you motivate yourself? What is it? What do you do to get your butt into the gym when you particularly really don't feel like it? What do you do? What do you tell yourself?
Well, for me, I got a lot of things in the thought tank. Yes, this is my business, but the way I also see it as it's my hobby. And the day that I don't like going into the gym is the day that I'm going to call it quits. But I've also trained myself to have the days that I do have, the days of not so much doubt, but I'm tired and stuff like that. That's a negative thought. Stop, reassess yourself. It's like, okay, yes, a lot of the guys, the viewers are not doing it. That are watching this interview, they're not professional bodybuilders, but a lot of guys are actually striving to be. So if you have any thoughts now when you're still an amateur, then can you imagine when you've gone around the world and you're on jet lag and you want to do an interview which is probably 3 o'clock in the morning my time now, and I'm doing this interview with you and I have to do a training session for the hundreds of thousands of viewers that are going to see this out there. You've got to have these motivational thoughts in your mind to pull yourself out of it. And for me, I've got a lot of them. I tell myself, okay, do you want to be the champ still? Okay, well, suck it up and get in. Or for me, I don't get motivated by other athletes. I get motivated by things that have happened, like, I'm not around my family, so I don't have the ability to knock the door and see my mum on a daily basis. So there's a lot of things that I get motivated by and use that are nothing to do with bodybuilding, but put it into my training at some capacity. So, again, the mind is a powerful tool. Find them pathways to motivate yourself on them days that you don't want to go to the gym, because I'll tell you why. I would say I've got 100% success rate on having them doubtful days of, I don't want to train, and having one of the best workouts ever. You're turning a negative into a positive. So if you're going into the gym and you're going to have that, I'm not going to pump, you won't get a pump. But if you start off like, okay, get your shit together, and we're going to do this, you'll be surprised at what you can do.
It's great advice. I mean, and a lot of the time that's what separates the champions, having that self-discipline and finding what, how to motivate yourself to get in there. Tell us, we did a great interview with Neil Hill, your trainer. How important was it, or how beneficial was it for you to have Neil as a coach and possibly in many ways a mentor for your bodybuilding career as just a junior? How beneficial was it?
Oh, definitely. Me and myself and Neil now have been, we've been together for about 12 years. So you see the traditional path in bodybuilding, in fact a lot of sports, where you get a coach, they take you to a certain level, and then they think the grass is greener and they jump ship. For myself, the way I seen it was like we're a team. So okay, we started together. We come from small little villages in Wales, and we're now on the big stage. The best of the best, shall we say? So I believed in Neil's abilities, and he believed in mine. So for me, I'm not going to jump ship. When the going was getting good, which I had many ability to do so, was approached by many other coaches and say, okay, I can take you to that next level. I was like, I appreciate the offer, but I've got my coach already. And we've reassessed a lot of situations where, okay, I need to improve this body part. Okay, well, the work is done in the gym. There's no special remedy out there. There's no special training format that's gonna make you put 10 pounds of muscle on in a short period of time. It's down to hard work and graft. And since Neil has been with me since day one, it's knowing what I started with and making them fine-tuning changes to get me to that next level. So Neil in my corner is a big asset. Again, mentally, more so than physically a lot of the times. So it's like you're saying, the motivational factor, getting through a lot of workouts that we mentioned in the past. Some of them things, especially when you're dieting, that's where coach comes into play. It's more of a mental talk you need at the right time to reassure yourself. Because, we're all bodybuilders, we all have insecurities, or we second guess ourselves. We'll stand in this mirror and think we look good, and we'll move over a pace, and in the same mirror, a little bit of different lighting, it's like, oh my gosh, I look 4 weeks off. It's having that person then to say, like, no, listen, you're on track, you're doing what you need to do, you're checking in every week with me, and we're going to get that third, fourth title or whatever we're going to be doing. So yeah, Neil has been again a massive influence for me all throughout my career, all the way from a junior 19-year-old bodybuilder all the way to the current day.
Even the 212 three-time Mr Olympia still doubts himself, still has those insecurities. Thanks for your honesty, mate. We really appreciate it. So you're both from small towns in Wales. What does it mean when you go back? Are the locals proud of what you've achieved? Do they know what you've achieved? What's it like when you go back home?
I think it's for the local boys who've known me all them years. I'm still flex. Yeah. I'm still one of the boys. Yeah. I pride myself on being that way. Listen, the way I see it is, I've just got a magnifying glass over my head, and I do what I do on stage. Yes, I've got more awareness of me now. The days of me, getting away with some of the antics I used to do as the cheeky charm I used to have. I have to watch a couple of the pranks that I used to do, but now, again, I'm still the same guy. I'm still one of the boys, like I said, and going back, the local support for me is amazing. I go home and the local papers always want to cover me and do update stories and this and that. So I think for myself as well, knowing where I've come from and not forgetting what I have, and then going back and then seeing guys of similar success in different avenues, such as rugby or other businesses and stuff like that, with people I've grown up with. It's good, and showing a light. I think that's, especially from a small town, you've got a small town normally have small town thoughts, so you have to think big. So I've always thought bigger than that traditional. Okay, I live in this small town. Nothing's going to happen for me. If you've got a talent, put yourself out there, show it. And now with the ability of social media, if you're a singer, if you're you're a great journalist or whatever it be, now you have all this social outlet. You can show your gifted talents out to the whole of the world. So for me, going back, I'm just one of the advocates for showing that if you've got something special, you know, go for it in life. Don't listen to the doubters, because there's always going to be them people, even when you're number one. So, you know, the same people that doubted me back then now are the ones patting on my back. So I don't forget that either. So, but I also remember who the people told me to go for it in life too. And it's good to, again, go back to the colleges, the schools, and say, guys, go for it in life.
Mate, getting onto your nutrition, this is probably very boring for you. You probably get asked this question 200 times every week. Tell us a day's intake of food.
I would say that on a daily rundown when I'm home, would normally consist of turkey and chicken as my main base of food, meals, and that probably would be about 3 to 4 meals of that a day. I like to have 1 meal of salmon and 1 meal of steak, and then the majority of the meals will be made up of eggs. I also discovered, like, this year, after the last year, the tail end of last year, that I had a major amount of food allergies, and I never realized that. Well, I went through every prep with the same issue, stomach pains, and the old school mentality of sucking it up, you know, coming from a coal mine in Steel Town. That is the traditional, like, if you know, if your limb is not hanging off, suck it up. So that was with my case. So after Olympia, you know, my wonderful fiance, she's an RD, so she's like, okay, listen, we're going to get some food allergy tests. We've done westernized medicine. Now let's try some easternized medicine. When the westernized medicine couldn't pick up on anything, and she was like, this is definitely something. Let's do these food allergies. So we found out that a lot of the food that I prepped on for the number of years I've been a bodybuilder, I was allergic to. So,
can you tell us what they are? Is it the gluten? Is it oatmeal? What is it?
Yes, gluten, oatmeal. I was allergic to certain rice. Egg whites also has given me some issues. So now I can only eat a certain amount of egg whites. There's a limitations to what I can eat, and then there's certain things that I can eat. For example, the number one thing that I cannot eat at all is mustard. And believe it or not, mustard was on nearly every one of my meals, because it was one of them things that had very little calories in it. And I'd put it on there with my traditional tomato ketchup, mix it up, especially come close to the show. And I found that was the number one the number one thing that the doctor said, okay, mustard seed, X. And the other thing was everything is gluten free now, or to a certain, you know, I have to actually monitor a lot of my gluten intake. So a lot of breads have gone out the window in the off season. So it makes traveling a lot harder. Now when I'm home, of course, I'm in the controlled environment. I can purchase my food. But when I'm on the road, you know, the ability of purchasing food, going to a restaurant and ordering a certain style without the seasonings, without this and that, you know, it's made a little bit harder. But, you know, if you want to be the number one, you have to find, you know, ways of going through every big mountain. So that's just another way now of me, you know, not walking around it. I'm going to bulldoze right through the mountain. So the new foods that I'm doing right now have been amazing. You know, I've been ingesting a lot of couscous, quinoa, a lot of things I've never eaten on a regular basis. But my digestive tract has been phenomenal, and I've been enjoying the whole process now in the short period of time I've been eating it. So. And for also to pick up on the tail end of that, my off season unfortunately doesn't exist anymore, because I am at the top end of the weight. I weighed in last year's Olympia at 211. The year before that I was 210. So as you can see, my prep now is all about refinement. So yes, I want to make improvements in a certain area, but I've also got to refine that physique. So my numbers are climbing up, so my prep really doesn't start until June. So what I do is when I'm on the road, I maintain. I try and eat about 5 to 6 meals a day, 5 good meals a day. And, you know, with all the time changes and everything else, it actually helps my body stay at a certain level, all the traveling, believe it or not. So if I was at the lighter body weight, you know, in the 180s, 190s, this would be a tremendous fight. But then, if you can remember, you know, many years ago, I was still doing tremendous amount of traveling and making gains whilst I was on the road. So now it's flip-flop, but I'm using the travel as a benefit to keep low and then keep lean and promote the sport around the world. And then obviously when come June, I put my foot down and I start my off-season. I go up about 10 to 15 pounds in weight, and then I come back down just before the Olympia.
So it's phenomenal. That's why you're in such great shape year round. And so it's quality food, it's a quality physique year round for you, Flex. It's great to see. Supplementation, you've been looked after by BSN. You're a BSN athlete. You're their main guy. You're the flagship hero of BSN, and I thought it was wonderful for the brand when they signed you. It was one of the best things they could have done. Tell us about the BSN products. What do you love about the products? What are your favourite products, and how do you use them?
Well, again, being on the road, I use a lot of Amino X. I love Amino X, or the branch chains. Again, substituting the loss of meals. I try to make up with more branch chains, and that is a quality product. Obviously the isolate, Synth6 isolate, I love too. The NO Explode, I use sparsely in my off season, but come contest time, it's every workout. Again, with the whole BSN range, for me, when I signed on board with the company, I wanted to stand behind a company that I believed in and that believed in me. So, when I did become a free agent, if you want to put that word out there, there was many companies that came to me, but there was no question in my mind that this was the only company I wanted to stand in front of, for many reasons being, but the main reasoning being is the quality of product.
Excellent. They're just a powerhouse of a company. It's great to see you on board with them, Flex. One final question to wrap up. If you could give some advice to a young bodybuilder getting into the sport who wants to become better, he might possibly want to compete at a local show, he might have dreams of being Mr Olympia, he might just want to look great for the beach, aesthetically. What advice can you give him to change his body in a positive way? What's the best advice you could give that guy?
I think knowledge is power, and not to sound old here, but there was no YouTube, or there was no internet to that a certain extent when I was young. So my knowledge came from books. And again, I sound really old saying this, but I remember just going through page to page of Arnold's encyclopedia, Tom Platz's encyclopedia, Flex magazines. There was like a stack of everything in my bedroom when I was a kid. So I realized back then that a lot of the kids that go to the gym, they will watch somebody form, and yes, don't get me wrong, that person might be picture perfect, but they're learning from sometimes the wrong people. There's so many experts in the gym, and unfortunately, a lot of these experts really don't know what the hell they're doing half the time. So again, with the ability of having YouTube and seeing instructional form, perfect workouts with a lot of the pros out there, or big name fitness industry people like yourself, then there's going to be the likelihood of training and messing up is very slim. That said, a lot of guys then need to go into the gym and leave their ego at the door. We're bodybuilders. We're there to improve. This is not powerlifting. If that's what you want to do, then so be it. There's so many different people that can take them and take them into a powerlifting gym or whatever. But that to me is a segregated sport. Powerlifting and bodybuilding are two different things. Especially when I was a kid, I was in a powerlifting gym, so I got caught up with a lot of the older guys lifting heavy, and mind to muscle connection was lost. So to wrap everything up, my advice to you guys is knowledge is power. Get as much information as possible. Reach out to a knowledgeable person in a gym if you do have one, maybe an IFBB pro. They're an IFBB pro for a reason, I would like to say so. Just leave the ego at the door. Don't worry about what your training partner or your friend is lifting. Focus on form, and believe me when I say this. The weight that you're picking up has nothing to do with how much muscle you're going to put on. It's all about stimulation. So I can make a 30-pound dumbbell feel like 60-pound dumbbell, and yeah, I might be training next to somebody that's throwing around maybe them 60s, and but I guarantee I can have a better workout than that person just throwing them up for weight's sake. So leave the ego at the door. Knowledge is power. Get online, do as much research as possible, and then have a phenomenal workout, and good luck with your gains.
Great advice, guys. Flex, where can our beautiful people in Australia follow you? Where can they get a hold of you and follow what you're doing?
I've got a lot of outlets out there, guys. I've got my own YouTube page, Flex Lewis. I've also got my fan page. It's IFBB Pro Flex Lewis, and then my Instagram, my Twitter is Flex_Lewis. Also, I've just in Boca Raton, Florida, I've opened a 10,000 square foot training facility that isn't open to the public yet. I don't think it will ever be, but it will be open once a month to the public, and there I will be doing seminars and training days, and again, I'm going to get a lot of VIP guests in, so you guys can check all the things that I've got going on flexlewis.net. From my Flex Lewis Classic shows to this Project Flex and many other endeavors and charity things that I'm getting involved with. I try to be a bodybuilder that gives back as much as I can, and not that I'm trying to be the next Arnold, even though I have this cool accent and everything else. I do want to give back as much as the sport has given me. So thank you so much for the support, guys. Just coming out year after year, from having fans that stood in line for 10 minutes, now stand in line for 1.5 to 2 hours just to shake my hand and to give me comments of well wishes and saying that I changed their mindset or whatever it is. Again, these are personal things that these people have told me. It's an amazing feeling to know that I'm just doing what I'm doing, just in front of a camera, giving back, and there's no other reason for me to doing it that I enjoy doing it. And again, I get a lot of pleasure from you guys giving me the energy, and this is why I come back each and every year to Australia, and it's amazing. So thank you very much.
Get behind this great man, Flex Lewis, 212, Mr Olympia. I think he's the most loved professional in our sport, and you can see why. He's a humble champion. He loves to give back. He gives of his time. So Flex, thanks for joining us again, mate. We really appreciate it. We love having you here. We hope to see you again next year.
Definitely. I'll be back. I love it.